You know what? At 2 a.m., when the entire world is sound asleep, there are millions of people over 50, just like you, lying wide awake, staring at the ceiling. You don't want to be awake. You want to keep sleeping. But your body keeps waking you up like an alarm clock you can't turn off. And the worst part? Nobody has ever explained to you why. If this sounds familiar, I understand how you feel. Throughout many years of working with over 10,000 patients, I've heard countless stories exactly like yours. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, a sleep health specialist. And today, I'm going to share with you the 5 real reasons why your body keeps waking you up at 2 a.m. And more importantly, how you can sleep through the night peacefully until morning. These aren't the generic tips you've heard before. These are deep insights based on science and my real-world experience. And at the end of this video, I'll reveal a secret that 90% of my patients never knew. One small change that can make the biggest difference of all. If you want to reclaim your sleep, hit subscribe right now so you won't miss the next videos. Now, let's explore the first reason together. One that most people never even think about. Here's something most people don't realize. There's an organ in your body working at full capacity between 1 and 3 a.m. every single night. And if it's overloaded, it will wake you up. I'm talking about your liver. Your liver is one of the hardest working organs you have. Every single day, it filters your blood, processes nutrients, handles medications, and neutralizes toxins. But what most people don't know is that the liver does its heaviest detoxification work at night, especially between 1 and 3 a.m. Think of your liver as your body's midnight cleaning crew. While you're supposed to be resting, it's sweeping, scrubbing, detoxifying, and restoring balance so your body can function the next day. But here's the problem. If your liver is overloaded because of heavy late-night meals, alcohol, sugary desserts, or even long-term medication use, it struggles to keep up. And when the liver is under strain, it doesn't stay silent. It wakes you. Some people notice they wake up feeling hot and restless. Others wake up thirsty with a dry mouth. Some even feel sudden anxiety with no clear reason. These are classic signs that your liver is waving a red flag at 2 a.m. saying, "I need support." Let me share a story. I had a patient named Robert, 68 years old, a retired teacher. He woke up at exactly 2:15 a.m. every single night for 3 years. He thought it was stress. But when we looked closer, his main meal was always late, sometimes finishing dinner at 8 or even 9 p.m. His liver was being forced to digest a heavy load right when it needed to do its cleanup work. Once he shifted his eating earlier and lightened his evening meals, within just 2 weeks, those 2 a.m. wake-ups started fading away. So here's your takeaway. If you're waking at 2 a.m., feeling hot or thirsty, look at your dinner. Eat lighter, eat earlier, and drink more water during the day. Your liver will thank you with peaceful nights. But the liver isn't the only culprit. There's another silent alarm hiding right in your blood. Have you ever woken up at 2 a.m. with your heart pounding, feeling anxious for absolutely no reason? That's not anxiety. That's your brain crying out for help. Here's what most people don't understand. Your brain doesn't have a fuel tank. It can't store sugar for later. It runs moment by moment on the glucose in your blood. So imagine this. You go to bed at 10 p.m. You've had a nice dinner, maybe even a small dessert, some cookies, a little ice cream, or perhaps a glass of wine before bed. You fall asleep just fine. But here's what happens next. That sweet food or alcohol spikes your blood sugar quickly. Your body rushes to bring it down with insulin. And sure enough, just a few hours later, your blood sugar crashes. By 2 or 3 a.m., your brain starts to panic. It doesn't have the fuel it needs, so it does the only thing it can. It wakes you up. And you don't just wake up peacefully. Often your heart is racing. You might feel anxious for no reason. Sometimes you wake up sweating with a dry mouth, or even feeling slightly shaky. A study published in Sleep Medicine in 2019 found that 40% of people over 50 experience unstable blood sugar at night, especially if they consume simple carbohydrates before bed. This isn't rare. It's happening to millions of people every night, and they have no idea. Let me tell you about Margaret, 61 years old, a retired office worker. She came to me completely exhausted. She woke up every night at 2 a.m., heart pounding like a drum, anxiety flooding through her. She thought she was developing a psychological problem. But when I asked about her evening routine, she confessed she loved having cookies and sweet tea before bed. We made one simple change. Instead of cookies, she tried a small handful of almonds with half an apple. The protein, healthy fat, and fiber kept her blood sugar steady. Within just 5 days, she slept through the night. She cried when she called me. "I had no idea it was this simple," she said. So here's what you need to do. If you wake with your heart racing, swap out your evening snack immediately. No cookies, candy, or sugary drinks. Choose protein plus healthy fat plus a bit of fiber. Nuts, cheese, low-sugar fruit. Stable blood sugar equals deep sleep. And if this video is helping you understand better, please hit that like button so I know. Now, let's talk about something fascinating. What if your body is actually remembering an ancient habit from thousands of years ago? What if I told you that waking up at 2 a.m. might actually be normal, even natural? Here's something that will surprise you. For most of human history, people didn't sleep in one long 8-hour block the way we expect to today. They practiced something scientists call segmented sleep. Our ancestors, farmers, villagers, even people living in small towns just a few hundred years ago, would go to bed shortly after sunset. They'd sleep for 4 or 5 hours. Then, like clockwork, they would wake in the middle of the night. Not tossing and turning, not panicking, just naturally awake. They might tend the fire, check on the animals, even step outside to look at the stars. Some used this time for prayer, reflection, or quiet conversation. And then, after an hour or two, they would go back to sleep for their second sleep, waking refreshed at sunrise. This wasn't insomnia. It was life. It was the rhythm of nature. In fact, in old diaries and historical records, this middle-of-the-night period was sometimes called the watch. It was the time when the village or the family took turns staying alert, keeping everyone safe. Now here's the fascinating part. Those ancient rhythms are still inside us. Buried in our biology, in the wiring of our brains, is that ancestral pattern. And sometimes, especially as we age and our sleep becomes lighter, that pattern resurfaces. Let me tell you about David, 73 years old, a retired engineer. He hated waking up at 2 a.m. He felt broken. When I explained segmented sleep to him, he suddenly felt relieved. Instead of fighting it, he started using that 30 minutes to journal, pray, or listen to soft music. Then he'd go back to sleep easily. "I'm not afraid of it anymore," he told me. So here's your lesson. If you wake up and can't fall back asleep immediately, don't panic. Accept it. Read quietly, meditate, write down your thoughts. Don't look at your phone. Don't turn on bright lights. After 20 to 40 minutes, your body will be ready for that second sleep. When you accept it instead of fighting it, it loses its power over you. But sometimes the reason you wake up comes from a very specific signal from your body. Here's a question that might sound strange. Do you wake up because you need to use the bathroom, or do you need to use the bathroom because you've already woken up? The truth is, many people wake up first, and then their brain sends the signal, well, since you're awake, might as well go to the bathroom. This is what I call the sensitive bladder effect. As we age, our bladder muscles become more sensitive. They don't hold as much as they used to. Even a small amount of urine can trigger the signal. Wake up, bathroom time. Add to that the fact that many people over 50 are on medications, blood pressure pills, diuretics, even some heart medications that increase nighttime urination, and suddenly your sleep becomes interrupted night after night. But here's the part nobody explains. Sometimes the bladder isn't really full. It's simply overactive. It's like a smoke alarm that goes off at the faintest hint of steam from the kitchen. Nothing is actually burning, but the alarm is loud enough to wake you anyway. Let me share Thomas's story. He was 69 years old, a retired police officer. He complained about having to use the bathroom 3 times every night. He thought age was the only reason. But when I asked, he was drinking 2 large glasses of water right before bed, thinking it would keep him hydrated through the night. We made a change. Drink plenty of water in the morning and afternoon, but only sip lightly in the evening. 1 week later, he only woke up once, or not at all. It's simpler than I ever imagined, he said. So here's what you need to do. Hydrate well during the day, morning, and afternoon. Minimize liquids in the evening. Avoid caffeine after 3 p.m. If you're on diuretics, ask your doctor about the optimal timing. And remember, if you wake up, ask yourself, do I really need to go? Sometimes it's just habit. If you're learning something useful here, don't forget to share this video with friends your age. And now, the 5th reason, perhaps the one that bothers you the most. Why do small worries during the day become giant nightmares at 2 a.m.? Here's what happens. During the day, your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, helps you keep perspective. It's like the wise parent that says, calm down, it's not such a big deal. But at night, especially in the early morning hours, that rational brain goes offline. It's resting. Meanwhile, your emotional brain, the limbic system, stays active. And without the rational part to balance it, your emotions run the show. Fear feels bigger. Worries feel heavier. The tiniest thought snowballs into a storm. A study from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine in 2020 showed that nighttime anxiety in older adults often doesn't reflect reality. It's the result of neurochemical imbalance when deep sleep is disrupted. That's why so many people tell me, Dr. Carter, I wake up at 2 a.m. and my mind won't stop. I think of everything I've ever done wrong, every bill I need to pay, every doctor's appointment, every what-if in the world. By daylight, those worries shrink again. But at night, with your emotional brain in charge, they feel enormous. Linda, 65 years old, a retired teacher, called 2 a.m. The devil's hour. She'd wake up and her mind would spiral. What if I get sick? What if I can't take care of myself? What if I'm a burden to my family? I taught her one phrase. 2 a.m. thoughts are like drunk texts. Never trust them. She laughed, and suddenly it clicked. She started writing them down on paper whenever anxiety appeared. Just the act of writing made them smaller. So here's your final takeaway. When you wake with a racing mind, write it down. Breathe slowly, 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Remind yourself, this is just my emotional brain. Tomorrow morning will be different. And trust me, morning always is. So now you know all 5 reasons. But before we finish, I have one last important thing to share with you. You see, waking up at 2 a.m. doesn't mean your body is broken. It's simply trying to talk to you. Your liver needs support. Your blood sugar needs balance. Your ancient sleep rhythm is awakening. Your bladder is more sensitive. And your emotional brain needs reassurance. When you understand your body's language, you can take back control of your sleep. And now I want to ask you this. Of the 5 reasons I just shared, which one do you think is affecting you the most? Leave a comment below. I'll read and respond to each one. In the next video, I'm going to reveal 7 simple sleep tips that almost nobody tells you as you age, but they're incredibly easy to do and work immediately. You won't want to miss this. If this video helped you, hit that like button, share it with the people you love, and don't forget to subscribe to Golden Years Health for more knowledge about your golden years of health. You deserve peaceful nights and energized mornings. Sleep well, my friend.